So I brought up a couple of things in my last video. I might try and remember what it was, and I'll discuss them now. I mean, the difficulty is for me remembering. I could take notes, but that would involve pen and paper, and I'm going to be using enough pen and paper and taking enough notes very soon, so I don't really feel like doing that. But what I was talking about before with discourse is we all have limited knowledge of things. We all understand things to a certain point. Now, there's an old adage saying, quote, whatever it is, and a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And that's where we live now. So in theory, we have access to the collective knowledge of all of humanity, but it's not precisely accurate, because the people dispensing this information, the curators of this information, which is all of the search engines, it's all paid advertising now. It's not the same thing that it was 30 years ago or 20 years ago, or what was it, only 15 years ago when people actually started getting on the interwebs. And it wasn't all that long ago, what was it, 2007, when the iPhone came out, when people started getting on the internet and being able to search for things. It was a lot different. So there was a lot less information, and people had to have a reason to put that information onto the internet. Now, the only reason to put the information onto the internet is money, because all of it is about profit. So you get influencers, which is a word that I hate, because they're not really influencing anything except their own bank accounts and the bank accounts of the people sponsoring them. So they're just consumers, and they're just shills for corporations, all of them. So there are some websites out there where people just, and if it's your job, I understand that you need to get paid, but there are some people out there that will put things on the internet purely to make a profit, whether it's true or not, whether it's disagreeable or not. And how come I keep making this thing that all the politicians used to do? I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Anyway, and Reagan did it, Clinton did it. Oh no, Trump probably does it too, even though he's not really a politician. I don't know what that is. Pushing the button. Do I think I'm doing a presentation? Is it like a button that you'd use for changing the screen on your PowerPoint? Doesn't work. So having a discourse about things, because people only know stuff to a certain amount. So they're told, this is a clean, green alternative and we're not polluting the environment. That's it. That's all they need to run off on their little thing. That's all they need. We're building a giant, massive plane, the biggest, longest plane ever built, so that we can transport wind turbine blades to locations that, like in the ocean. Well, is it an ocean-going plane? Does it land on the water? So therefore, it's got to go from wherever it's being built, get on a plane. Now, what if it's being built somewhere where they can't land this giant fuck-off plane? Then it needs to be transported by road or by ship to wherever. So if it's by ship, then it would have to be by road to the airport. Then in the airport, it needs to get loaded into this giant plane, which then flies it somewhere. And what if that large plane can't land where they're building the wind turbines? Then it still needs to go on a truck or in a boat. Why not just stick it in a fucking boat and use that boat to get it where it needs to go? Does the wind turbine need to be constructed that quickly that you need that much infrastructure to move those couple of wind turbine blades? And the fact that over the ocean, wind turbine blades have very little life because of the sea air and inclement weather and other things. So it's a snowball. It literally, from the outside looking in, just appears to be a grift. It's literally people working out what other people are told they need, that other people think is a good idea, and then everybody runs with it, and everybody makes a profit all the way along the line. Same with new automobiles. Now, I have a fairly new automobile. It's 8 years old. It's not my personal car. My personal car is like a 20-year-old $1,000 piece of junk. But because there's so many more road users, because red lights don't seem to mean stop anymore, because of all these other things, I wanted something with as many useful safety features on it as possible. Good ABS, crap ton of airbags. That's pretty much it. What other things on cars are useful? Autonomous braking has caused... My mate got hit in the back of the head with a phone because the car thought someone in front of him was stopping and they weren't. So it jammed on the brakes and his son's phone just smashed him in the back of the head. My dad was driving a rental car in central Queensland. The lines just vanished and the car started to veer left to try and find the lines that the automatic features decided, that the government's decided in order for car to be safe. And so I see more people on their phones, I see more people not paying attention, and the road toll in Australia has gone up because of all these safety features. John Cadogan on Auto Expert, he's done a big thing about this. I was speaking to my brother who's in IT and he gave me all the stats on this sort of thing. So I just wanted a car that was safe enough so that when all of these people that are now on all their phones, not paying attention, think their cars are going to fucking drive for them, my wife's safer. That makes sense to me. Now, me personally, I drive a $1,000 car. I don't give a shit. On the highway, I take the wife's car, which has all the safety stuff. If someone hits me in suburbia, it'll destroy my car. I don't care. I might end up with a few days off work. Okay, yes, I could still die, but it's reasonably unlikely. But everyone just buys new cars. Every few years, everyone buys new cars. And now it's getting into cars that have a power source, a traction system, a motivation system that not even 100% sure of the reliability over the long term of that drive system. So then people that have bought these things can get very little money on the second-hand ones, but they still keep going to buy new ones. Instead of keeping it, if it's green and clean and good for the environment and really, really helpful, I'm talking about EVs now, why don't they keep them? Why do they need to get a new one every few years? When the lease runs out, pay out the bloody balloon payment, drive it till it can't be driven anymore. Drive it till the battery collapses or it burns your house down. I know it doesn't happen often, but it happens. Why don't they do that? Because they're all still consumers. So consumers telling me, who's not really a consumer, I buy all old, all second-hand shit, telling me that I'm wrong for what I'm doing, while they're still literally at the forefront of what is the actual problem with humanity. That's why I get irked. That's why it's irksome. So what would you describe? What's the noun for someone that irks you? I mean, it's sort of like offence. I'm a firm believer that offence is taken and not given. So people being irksome to me is still my problem. But the reason that it's my problem is because these are the people in the cities that basically in a lot of countries, in Australia you can find it, in the US and in a lot of Europe you can find it. There are people that make choices that are against farmers, that make it difficult to farm because they can go to a shop and buy their milk and their bread and their eggs. And it's like they don't put two and two together, that the source of these products is not in the city. It's not them in their desk job producing that stuff. People in the desk jobs don't really produce anything that keeps humanity going. It produces shit that keeps cities going and keeps economies going, but that doesn't keep society going. It doesn't keep people alive. So they're making all of these decisions about our power, our future, and our governments going forward, and they're using the exact same logic. Anyway, that's why it's irksome, is because it has long-term detrimental effects on me and my family and my friends. Anyway, it's all I've really got to say about that. If you can't be good, well, unless it's something that irks me, I don't care whether you're good at it or not. It's probably better that you're not good at it. If you can't be good at it. If you be somewhat okay to one another and bite me,